ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Here's Lisa Salters with the Falcons coach Mike Smith.
Mike, at the beginning of camp, you wanted to make sure that your guys didn't live in the past. You told them we're not 10 yards from the Super Bowl anymore. Why was it important to get that message across?
Well, I think you got to live in the now, Lisa, and we're a completely different football team, roster-wise and maturity-wise, than we were last year. And we can't live in the past. We've got to go out and earn it every time we step on the field.
Matt Ryan says he's looking forward to seeing how the rookie corners do. Then there's the feel-good story of Brian Banks. Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight to see what they can really do under the lights?
I'm looking forward to watching and evaluating all these young guys that haven't played in an NFL game. This is their first opportunity to do it. Told them that you're going to make mistakes, but when you make a mistake, make sure that you put it behind you and move on to the next play.
Thanks for your time tonight, Mike. Good luck tonight and the rest of the season.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right.
All right, Lisa, thank you. Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense will get the ball. That is Quinn Sharp, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. Three-time All-American with a big leg, set to kick it off. Jaquiz Rogers back deep for the Falcons to receive. Not a full house, but certainly the folks who are here, they're standing, cheering, they're ready to see some football. It's been a long time, back since January. So is Marvin Lewis and his Bengals. Off we go from Atlanta with the 2013 season. And Rogers takes it from the goal line. And Jaquiz will take it to the 23-yard line as he's brought down by Orson Charles. So Matt Ryan, the Falcons quarterback with that new big contract, we'll get into that later on. There's no Julio Jones. He's out with an injury. Would have played if this was a regular season game. And no Tony Gonzalez as they give him a few weeks to be with his family before coming back to camp. John, what are the key things you're watching tonight?
I'm watching the offensive line. They're going to break in a new center. Peter Kahns played right guard last year. And keep an eye on the right tackle position. They've had injuries and departures. They have a long way to go at right tackle.
From the 24, welcome to the Falcons, Steven Jackson. James Harrison chased him, and then the sideline, Terrence Newman makes the tackle. The gain of a couple of yards. Active leader in rushing yards in the National Football League, doing that in his first 9 years with the St. Louis Rams. He's never been on a winning team. He was 8-8 once they got to the playoffs, but Steven Jackson, John, can bring so much to this Atlanta offense.
And he's never had a supporting cast like he has here in Atlanta. If he commands some 8-man fronts, Matt Ryan's going to audible and throw the ball to some great receivers. He hasn't had that.
After 4 on first down, Ryan's throw is complete. That's a first down. Chase Kaufman, the tight end, as they have people behind Tony Gonzalez on the field here tonight. Now for this Cincinnati defense, a top 10 defense in the league last year. We obviously talked about the addition of James Harrison. And John, that secondary with Terrence Newman and Leon Hall, they're established along with Reggie Nelson. We're looking at the strong safety spot closely here tonight.
That's a priority. George Iloka, second-year man from Boise, will get the first shot at it, but you'll see Sean Williams, their rookie from Georgia, and Taylor Mays later. And how does James Harrison fit in the overall picture here?
First down, Jackson with the run. There is Harrison busting into the backfield and limiting Jackson to less than a half yard.
There's James Harrison playing inside linebacker in a 4-3 defense. It's not where he used to play, but he's going to run through gaps and drive offenses crazy. There he disrupts a running play. You see the right tackle for the Atlanta Falcons, number 76, their second-year man, Lamar Holmes. Harrison will prove to you by the end of the preseason he can play in any defense.
Huge adjustment. Out of the 3-4 to the 4-3. Corner blitz coming. Ryan gets rid of it. And Harry Douglas down the sideline. Big gain for Douglas. Nice move to stay in bounds until he stepped out at the 24-yard line. It's a pickup of 42 yards.
Well, when you lined up both linebackers in the A-gap and you blitz a slot corner, you better have the perimeter covered. You're going to see a double A-gap blitz. Leon Hall comes clean off the edge, but Matt Ryan just picks it up and throws it out to the edge. And there's no Cincinnati Bengals left. Excellent perimeter blocking. And this Falcon offense under offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter is a great screen team.
And on first down, Jackson to the right. To the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 4. All the choices Matt Ryan will have to make and he'll have to use this year. John, if you have that golden group of quarterbacks like Brady and Peyton, Eli, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, the 2 Super Bowls that Roethlisberger has. Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan are on that next group. Flacco got his Super Bowl last year. Matt Ryan finally got a playoff win last year.
Well, he's well deserving of that contract. I saw the Falcons before Matt Ryan arrived, and I like them better with Matt Ryan.
2nd and 6. Roddy White with the catch. Had the first down where it caught the ball, but he took himself back trying to gain more yards, so he doesn't get forward progress. He's down at the 16-yard line.
But you see what you can do with an inexperienced right tackle. Throw some quick screens, hand the ball to Steven Jackson, get him some confidence, and throw some rhythm timing patterns. Excellent start for this Falcon offense. They picked right up where they left off, and Roddy White works the middle of the field as well as anyone.
See Harrison dropping there in coverage. It's part of the adjustment for James on the defensive side for the Bengals. 3rd and 2. Jackson, no lead block, nowhere to go. Geno Atkins, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, with the penetration, and he'll force a field goal attempt.
Well, you try to run in short yardage situations with your new acquisition. That's an area Atlanta struggled last year with, Mike, short yardage. And there's their right tackle, Lamar Holmes. They called his number. In short yardage, he didn't get it done.
38-year-old Matt Bryant back to kick again. Multiple teams, including 4 years in Tampa. 5th year now with the Falcons. This a 37-yard field goal attempt. No change in the snapper, holder, kicker battery for the Falcons. That operation perfect. And an opening drive field goal for Mike Smith's team.
Caring for you and your car. And NFL.com Fantasy. Make draft day your day. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy.
Back here, Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Last big event here. Basketball Final Four back in April, won by Louisville over Michigan. Now we're back to what this building was built for, football. And Matt Bosher's the kickoff man. Remember, the kickoffs moved last year's high percentage of touchbacks around the league. Brandon Tate, who's got a lot to prove as a receiver and a return man here for the Bengals. So an important preseason for the former Patriot. And Tate gets across the 20, brought down to the 22-yard line by the Falcons tight end Chase Kaufman. So Andy Dalton in his 3rd year, first 2 were playoff seasons, joins the first team offense on the field for Cincinnati. NFL head coach with his current team, only Bill Belichick with the Patriots ahead of the tenure of Marvin Lewis with the Bengals. And they've been to the playoffs here in 3 of the last 4 seasons. The last 2 seasons, Andy Dalton a big reason why. Out of TCU, 2 tight end look. You're going to see a lot of that from them this year. And Jermaine Gresham, one of those tight ends, puts down the would-be tackler, the rookie Desmond Trufant. Welcome to the NFL, first rounder.
I love that for your first play. Woo.
We mentioned you see a lot of 2 tight ends. Tyler Eifert joining Jermaine Gresham, then Jarvis Green Ellis back as the starting running back. They are without A.J. Green because of a knee bruise. It's the main starter missing for this team. Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle, is also out. That second receiver battle, John. We'll see more people with a chance to look for those jobs tonight. Then Jarvis Green Ellis is stopped for no gain.
They have to find a second receiver. We know who Julio Jones' running mate is.
Roddy White.
But the Bengals don't have a running mate for A.J. Green. And in this Bengal huddle, one of these young receivers must step up, as is the case at center. Cincinnati used 3 centers last year. They have 4 taking snaps in camp this year. Kyle Cook gets the first shot at it.
To the left with Green Ellis, able to elude the first tackle and get the first down at about the 43-yard line.
One thing I like about Andy Dalton is he's sharp. That time he sees the weak safety come down, he audibles to a strong side run. Excellent recognition. He sees Will Moore come down on the right side of the screen. He says, let's run to the left. The Bengals have the numbers advantage, and they thrash Atlanta. Excellent quarterback play. You got to be able to recognize defenses, and Andy Dalton is excellent at it.
First down throw for Dalton. Incomplete, trying to hit Brandon Tate. Return the kickoff. Well, we talk about Dalton, John, out of TCU, taken early in that second round, that 2011 draft, the 35th overall pick. He's had your brother Jay as his offensive coordinator his entire time. It certainly has been a great progression as we've watched him grow, and now he's taking more leadership responsibility as well.
Well, he's wearing that C on his uniform. That stands for captain, and it's well-deserved.
Gives to Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis to the right, and the former Patriot is across the 45-yard line. He was the only quarterback to lead Cincinnati to the playoffs in his first 2 seasons. There you see that 19 and 13 number, and people come back to his struggles in both of the playoff games, especially last year against Houston. But I enjoyed visiting with Andy because he was very honest about the things he needs to improve on in year 3 as a quarterback.
It's refreshing when you find a young quarterback who's had success that realizes there's plenty of work to do, and believe me, he's after it. Look at this weak side blitz coming from Atlanta.
The Falcons do so well. Disguise and confuse pre-snap. We saw Peyton Manning struggle with that in here last year. And they didn't get the play off in time. There's a false start.
False start, 64. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
I'm not seeing that in your first preseason game, Mike. First third down, Mike Nolan comes out with an amoeba defense. You got 11 Atlanta Falcons hovering around. You don't know what the front is, what the coverage is.
And look who drops back to safety.
Yeah, you're going to see a defensive lineman, Corey Bierman, drop out to the post. Unbelievable.
He did that exact thing to Peyton Manning in Denver last year when we were here on a Monday night. 3rd and 12, they rush 3, drop 8, and Dalton's pass is incomplete. Contact is Tyler Eifler. Ryan Whalen went up to get the ball, I should say. The wide receiver out of Stanford, but Robert McClain hits him, and it's incomplete.
Well, it's unfortunate. Whalen is wide open. He runs a deep curl route against a double zone and slips. Protection held up. Good get off by the Falcon defense.
Cincinnati born, Cincinnati Bearcat Kevin Huber, now a Cincinnati Bengal for his 5th season. A fair catch for Harry Douglas. 40 on the kick, no return. And the Falcons will take over for their 2nd series halfway through the opening quarter, up 3. The Atlanta Falcons, they've had the home field 2 of the last 3 years, best record in the NFC. And one of the reasons they were able to build on that with the glorious numbers Matt Ryan put up career high in yards, touchdowns, and completion percentage. But we know what happened in the playoffs, big leads that drifted away. They were able to rally and beat Seattle in the divisional playoff, but lost that 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game, sending San Francisco to the Super Bowl. Do you like how Mike Smith has approached it, guys? We weren't 10 yards away. We're 100-something days away. Next year's Super Bowl.
Yes, I do. Last year is in the books.
Nice to see a 2nd series from the starters. Here's Jackson running to the right, and he gains about 2 yards to the 22-yard line. So, John, with those starters out there, let's focus on the Bengals defense and James Harrison.
How they wanted to see this. A lead play right at James Harrison, playing inside linebacker. Let's see him take on the fullback right here. Pretty good work by the 35-year-old ex-Pittsburgh Steeler. He's going to see some different blocking schemes, and he's going to see the game differently as an inside linebacker.
Second and 8, 5 in the pattern, and Jackson's got it wrapped up. Not going to go anywhere as Reggie Nelson up from the free safety spot closes down on him.
That's one thing Steven Jackson can do as well as most backs in pro football. Come out of the backfield, catch it, and normally he can make the first man miss. Speaking of Oregon State Beavers. I like this back. Number 32, Jaquiz Rogers, made a lot of flashy plays on the third down roll last year for this Falcon offense.
92 to Mike, 92 to Mike. Express. Ready to go.
3rd and 7. James Harrison in that Mike position, that middle linebacker spot, was setting up the protection. The pass by Ryan was high. John, one thing this Cincinnati team will do to many quarterbacks this year, heat them up and force it out quick.
They've got a tremendous pass rush, and they have an array of different pass rushers. You see Michael Johnson, 93, the great Geno Atkins, number 97. And Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, can use a lot of different pressures. That time they got up in the face of Matt Ryan and forced an inaccurate throw.
Ready to take back to get the Matt Bosher punt for Atlanta. Nice kick. 58 yards worth of kick. Takes from inside his 20. Returns it 5 yards. Special teams tackles and plays are so important for so many. Robert James, he put some good work on video with that stop. First time on the field. First time to talk adjustments for these guys. Year 2 for Mike Nolan. John, the Falcons defensive coordinator, already in midseason form.
Yes, he is. He's got every defense known to man in his background. 3-4, 4-3, miscellaneous sub pressures, you name it. Excellent coach.
And showing some of that in this very first preseason game. Dalton's first pass is caught. Jermaine Gresham with another first down picked up. That's shy of the 34-yard line. Let's go over and look at that Atlanta defense this year. They have a new name there of note in O.C. Umenyiora, the ex-Giant, comes in to take John Abraham's role. Sean Weatherspoon, their outstanding signal call on defense, he is out with a finger injury. As you look at the rest, you've got questions about the pass rush.
Yeah, after O.C. Umenyiora, I don't know who's going to rush. You're going to see some young Falcons get an opportunity tonight, but they've got to be better rushing the passer.
There goes Umenyiora pushing the pocket and forcing Andy Dalton to get outside the tackle box and legally get rid of it. And it is incomplete.
O.C. doesn't look the same wearing number 90, but here he goes after Collins on an inside move and forces Andy Dalton to abort that play. Umenyiora has big shoes to fill here. John Abraham was a great Atlanta Falcon. I don't think Umenyiora has the supporting cast he had with him in New York. Some of these other young Falcon edge rushers have to step up.
Quick count, blitz is on. Dalton gets rid of it. There's Tyler Eifert out of Notre Dame. With a flag down in the Bengals backfield. He's shoved out of bounds after a gain of 6. And we'll hear from Walt Coleman again.
Illegal use of the hands in the face, number 64, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Second penalty on the center.
Well, it's a hot. Atlanta brought more defenders than Cincinnati had in protections. Eifert is the hot receiver. He got his head around quickly. Does a nice job, but Tyler Eifert is one of those tight ends I refer to as a joker, Mike. You can line him up as an H-back, a fullback, a wide receiver, and he can function in any position. I think the Bengal fans are going to fall in love with him.
After the penalty, 2nd and 20. Dalton trying to get the screen out to their other young draft pick, Giovanni Bernard, but incomplete on the pressure again with Umenyiora. Let's go back to Eifert, the first rounder, John, out of Notre Dame, first tight end taken in April's draft.
Well, he won the John Mackey Award because he's a great receiver. And as I said, you can line him up as a wide receiver. He's got tremendous body control. He has no fear in a crowd. He's a 6'6" target to throw the ball to down the seam. He's a good blocker, I think, with the coaching he's getting from Jonathan Hayes, an ex-tight end himself. He'll continue to improve, but so far penalties have killed Cincinnati.
3rd and 25 rush. 2 of them were blitzers, and underneath Giovanni Bernard, who slips and thus will come 4 yards short of the first down. The 2nd-round pick out of North Carolina, Bernard, was the first running back taken in the draft.
Well, this Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, wanted to show some blitzes early. Here's a corner blitz from first-round draft choice Desmond Trufant. They don't account for the screening back, and I'm surprised Giovanni Bernard slipped and fell right there. I wanted to see some electricity, Mike.
I think he did too. Those feet were moving quick. First time he touched it in the league. Kevin Huber with the punt for Cincinnati. Harry Douglas goes back after 52 yards of a punt. But he's taken down with a return just about 8 yards. Cedric Pierman on the special team stop for the Bengals. A couple of series from each first team. We'll see if we see one more out of Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense when we come back. Well, Matt Ryan's spring and summer got a lot nicer on March 12th when Tony Gonzalez, the guaranteed first ballot future Hall of Famer, whenever he hangs him up 5 years after that, announced he's going to come back for a 16th season, John, at age 37. Gonzalez not with the team here early in camp, as he had promised his family he'd stay with his son and get him started in his first football season. And he will be back. Mike Smith says he'll get the work. He'll get all the same number of snaps he had. But what does it mean to the Falcons to have Gonzalez return when he thought he was 95% likely to retire?
This great reliability and consistency. Man, you can trust to dominate the middle of the field. You have Julio on one side, Roddy on the other, with Tony in the middle. How good does it get?
First down for Matt Ryan. And his pass is hauled in despite the flag that was drawn. Drew Davis comes up with the play, working on Adam Jones, formerly better known as Pac-Man. It's a 31-yard gain.
I like this Drew Davis out of Oregon, Mike.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play, first down.
Good call by Walt Coleman. Pac-Man clearly hooked him, but Drew Davis is a stuntman for this Falcon offense. He's an outstanding blocker on these perimeter toss sweeps, and to see him make a play in a passing game is certainly going to help his cause.
I thought I heard you say good call by Walt Coleman.
Yeah.
Perhaps was dreaming. The slant to Harry Douglas is incomplete. Walt Coleman was the referee for the Tuck Mill game. We'll talk about that and a rule change a little bit later on. John, just back to Tony Gonzalez for a second. It was interesting. He made a deal with Mike Smith, the head coach, that he was going to be at camp early, then miss. He'll probably play the last 2 preseason games. That wouldn't work out with a lot of players, but I think all the Falcons are okay with this deal.
Yeah, wouldn't you be? I'd say, Tony, take another day or 2 if you need it. Just come back, be ready for the opening ball game.
They don't make him like Tony Gonzalez.
Falcons' first team offense against the Bengals' second string defense. Well, one of those players, Ray Malaluga, still in there, along with the other backups, and he was able to tie up his man and force the incompletion. Malaluga looking for a turnaround season, John. He's the starting middle backer and struggled, candidly, last year for Cincinnati.
He takes a lot of criticism. I don't know why, Mike. He played almost 96% of the snaps, more than any Cincinnati Bengal defender by far. In that Bengal locker room, they're glad he re-signed. I know that.
This is 3rd and 10 for Ryan. He gets it to his tight end, Chase Hoffman. And the former Bengal is knocked out of bounds shy of the first down at the 45.
There's Ray Malaluga, an experienced, physical inside linebacker that never comes off the field. He's going to read out of the blitz, and he's going to pursue the check down and make an excellent play in space. That's what you have to do if you want to play on an every down basis. Make plays in the box and on the edge of the perimeter. And Ray Malaluga, no matter what all the critics say, does it quite well, if you ask me.
And one of the reasons he's out there with the rest of the twos, and there were no other starters for that series, is because Vincent Ray, one of the backups at middle linebacker, tweaked his knee. He's one of the many players inactive here tonight. The punt by Matt Bosher. Fair caught at the 10-yard line by Brandon Tate inside of 3 minutes. So this is preseason game number 1. We'll have a second preseason game for you for the Chargers and the Bears, 2 teams with new head coaches, Mike McCoy and Mark Trestman. The Chargers and the Bears, Phillip Rivers and Jay Cutler find new head coaches. Both on the offensive side of the ball try to get those guys back in their direction. So next Thursday night, game 2 of the preseason here on ESPN. One of the biggest stories in the camp for the Bengals. Who's going to be the backup to Andy Dalton? Josh Johnson gets the first shot at it. And he hands to Giovanni Bernard for a very limited game. Johnson is a player you know very well, John. prospect, his 5th year out of the University of San Diego. You drafted him in Tampa.
Yeah, 5th-round pick out of the University of San Diego. And what I liked about Josh as we drafted him is I thought he could throw the ball well enough and he could hurt you with his legs. He hasn't been consistent enough as a pure passer. He's worked hard in Cincinnati with quarterbacks coach Ken Zampese, widening his base, working on his fundamentals. Let's see where he is.
2nd and 9. He gives to Bernard to the right. Giovanni Bernard puts his shoulder down, and it's a couple of yards, within a couple of yards of the first down. So Bernard, I mentioned, first running back taken, John, 37th overall pick. What does he give the Bengals?
Well, there's no question he can catch the ball. He caught over 90 passes his last 2 years as a Tar Heel. Cincinnati has been horrific coming out of the backfield with their running backs. Remember, Cedric Benson couldn't catch the ball.
Right.
Really, Ben Jarvis Green Ellis is not a receiving back. They desperately need this skill. Let's see if they can get him one.
Most of the starters out for the Falcons defensively as Johnson throws sideline, intended for Mohamed Sanu, and it's incomplete.
And I want to see if he can pass protect. And that time, he got greeted to the National Football League. You got to be able to pick up blitzes because they're coming after your quarterback, and this time Bernard gets bounced right into the lap of the quarterback. Not good enough.
We always look at the catchability, the runability, but as an offensive play caller, you want to know one thing about a young back. Can you pick it up?
So does every defensive coordinator. They're going to test these young backs just like every other youngster.
High 39-yard punt, fair caught by Robert Alford, the 2nd-round pick out of Southeast Louisiana. We have a penalty marker down on the punt coverage.
During the kick, holding 51 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Will be pushed back, and your brother Jay in his 3rd year here, that's exactly what he's looking to see out of Giovanni Bernard and the other young players as they get under the lights against a hostile opponent for the first time.
Hey, no doubt. I mean, if you watch pro football on the practice field these days, there's not as many live opportunities to pick up blitzes as there once was. He needs this preseason to see where Giovanni Bernard is as a pass protector. You can run through drills real fast and run through team periods, but when the blitz is on and it's live and you got to pick up a 250-pound linebacker with incentives in his contract, it's not as easy. So Jay is going to test Bernard and Eifert and a lot of these other young Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, Cincinnati and Atlanta have something else in common. They're trying to figure out who their backup is. They've got an inexperienced guy. This is Dominique Davis, the 2nd-year man out of East Carolina, throwing deep downfield on first down, and a 50-50 ball is brought in and ruled incomplete. No catch for Kevin Cone.
And that's Dre Kirkpatrick, last year's #1 draft choice of the Cincinnati Bengals. In bump and run coverage, Cone gets the outside release, and watch Kirkpatrick find the ball in a blind spot. Excellent play. If Cincinnati can start to get mileage out of last year's 1st-round pick Kirkpatrick, they help themselves a lot in the secondary. Good young player.
A couple of knee injuries and a concussion kept the former champion, 2-time national champions from Alabama out of the lineup. 2nd and 10. Davis gives it to Jaquiz Rogers, who is met and hit hard by George Iloka. Second-year safety out of Boise State. You like Iloka?
I like the size of this Iloka. 6'4" strong safety playing down in the box. He comes up and stuffs the inside run. I could hear that up here. Number 43. He's going to walk down here as the unblocked defender. And Iloka started almost 50 games at Boise State. But I love a safety that can play in the box that also can get back there and show some deep range. Good work.
Davis, who played in the preseason last year for the Falcons, throws it incomplete. He has never taken a regular season NFL snap. We'll talk more about Dominique Davis when he comes back out, because we will see him throughout the 2nd, perhaps into the 3rd, because all 4 preseason games are going to be huge for Davis. He's the only other quarterback that Mike Smith has, 2 of them. Sean Renfrey, the 7th-round pick, the rookie out of Duke. and Seth Dagey out of Texas Tech. That's it for quarterbacks for the Falcons, so they need to find a backup for Matt Ryan. Tate from the 8. And Brandon Tate returns at 13 yards. 21-yard line. Well, Cincinnati last year, slow start for the Bengals, 3-5, but they won 7 of their last 8. And that defense, coordinated by Mike Zimmer, really a strong part of their turnaround. Andy Dalton and A.J. Green lost the other complements on the offense. And that's one of the reasons that they bogged down in that playoff game against Houston, held to under 200 yards as a team, as the Texans ended their season in the wild card game for the second consecutive year. Back to Josh Johnson, the quarterback. And this is usually the time in preseason games where it all starts to look different.
Full start, 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You know, going back to the Bengals season last year, they struggled offensively down the stretch, but they played their worst defensive game of the year in the playoffs against Houston also. They gave up over 30 first downs, well over 400 yards. Time of possession was a big factor. The Bengals need to regroup, have a great training camp, get some of these new players involved in their system, and play their best football as a team in the playoffs.
Bernard with an inside run, getting close to the 20-yard line. You see that Eifert is one of the 2 tight ends there with Richard Quinn. I think we'll see a lot of 2 tight ends from Cincinnati this year offensively.
I do. I think Eifert's ability to move around will allow the Bengals to use him as a third wideout, as a fullback. I think you'll see some creative formations. I think that's where they're going. A lot of double tight end sets with one of these 2 halfbacks, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, or Giovanni Bernard.
End of the first quarter here in Atlanta. Falcons leading 3-0 in our first preseason game. There's Mike Brown, whose dad, Paul Brown, is so instrumental in football with the Cleveland Browns, Ohio State. First coach and the co-founder of the Cincinnati Bengals. Mike Brown was often the point of criticism for Cincinnati, whether it was struggles on the field or off the field incidents that many of the players getting involved on the wrong side of the law. But he also deserves a lot of the credit for admitting that they needed to bring in better character people and some terrific drafts that have turned this Bengals franchise in the right direction. Josh Johnson, that's what he can do very well. And Johnson taking off. Huge run for about 42 first down yards inside the Falcons' 40 to the 37-yard line. Officially a gain of 43.
Well, that's one thing that we just talked about. This kid can really hurt you running the football. But watch the left side of your screen. Falcons' second-round pick, Robert Alford, number 23. He's the fastest Atlanta Falcon, running at about 4.35. But when you have a backup quarterback that can hurt you real bad with his legs, it changes the way you play defense.
Bernard running to the right. And he's stopped by Alford, that second-round pick out of southeastern Louisiana.
Something about this kid that really impressed me. Confident, small college kid with a chip on his shoulder. Impressed people at the Senior Bowl. Impressed me the last couple days of practice. Physical tackler, and that's what they need. They lost Dante Robinson, an outstanding physical corner. Alford looks like another one.
2nd and 11 for Josh Johnson. Check down pass is complete. Bernard stopped at the 35. Other games going on tonight. Chris Berman with an update.
Michael, it's good to see all this. A few years ago, 2,000-yard back, Chris Johnson. Well, if he does things like this against the Redskins, where he does go all the way, 58 yards, the Titans will be a different team. They're at home against the Redskins. They lead 14-7. Kirk Cousins threw a touchdown pass while he was in there. A couple series for the Skins, Mike.
And Kirk Cousins getting the lion's share of the work in the preseason as the Redskins await Robert Griffin III's return. Will we see him for our Monday night opener in the nation's capital against Chip Kelly and the Philadelphia Eagles? Johnson flushed again, taken off again. That's his first down, just shy of the 20-yard line. We know he can do that, and he's very effective at it.
Well, that's what's coming into pro football now. We've seen some fast quarterbacks change the way the game is played. And Josh Johnson finds himself hurting Atlanta with his scrambling ability. Nice job reading through that Falcons stunt. Too big. First down runs for Josh Johnson.
Rush of 43, rush of 14. Play action. And the pass keeps the feet in bounds inside the 6-yard line.
You know, one thing about Josh Johnson that I'm noticing in regard to this Falcon defense is Atlanta struggles with mobile quarterbacks. They struggled with Kaepernick and Russell Wilson in the playoffs. They struggled defending Cam Newton. And right now they're struggling handling the perimeter speed of Josh Johnson. And you have to be impressed with the young quarterback coming in here and moving this Bengal offense.
Anthony Collins was never really set to begin with. He was sliding in the whole time, the left tackle. Let's see who they're going to call for the false start.
False start, 73, offense, 5-yard penalty, field first down.
It is Collins, the 4th-round pick out of Kansas from back in 2008. John, you talked about the problem the Falcons had with those new faces who lit it up in the NFL the last couple of seasons.
Well, Cam averaged 29 points a game against Atlanta. Russell Wilson almost brought Seattle back, and Kaepernick broke everyone in Atlanta's heart. They have to do a better job defending the quarterback as a runner. I know it's a goal of Mike Nolan and his defensive coaching staff.
Giovanni Bernard to the right. Only gains a yard. Paul Warlow, rookie free agent out of Delaware, makes the tackle.
One thing about these Falcons, Mike, they might not statistically be very good in total yardage. 24th in the league in yards allowed, but they're 5th in the NFL in scoring defense. That's what it's all about. The reason they're up there in scoring defense is because of the way they play red zone defense, and they're outstanding, changing coverages, disguising looks. That's what you're seeing here.
Second and goal. Johnson is pressured and brought down. Jonathan Massaquoi, one of the important young players who must emerge as a pass rusher here for the Falcons.
Well, they need somebody to step up. Bottom of your screen. Working against Dennis Rowland, a right tackle of the Bengals. Good edge rush.
Massaquoi, second year out of Troy. Same school that gave us O.C. Umenyiora, his teammate. Third and goal. Johnson throws it in traffic, trying to squeeze it into the tight end. The pass, Ryan Whalen, again the wide receiver, I beg your pardon. And Warlow in there on coverage.
Not a good decision that time. Third down and extra in the red zone. There's nobody open. You got to be careful with the ball. Young quarterback, veteran quarterback. Got to protect points in the red zone. Good drive by Johnson, but you got to finish it.
32-yard field goal attempt from Mike Nugent, former Ohio State Buckeye, who was with the Jets. Second-round pick of the Jets. Bounced around with Tampa and Arizona. Got hurt last year after a very good start to his season. 19 of 23 field goals. Is back to be the kicker for the 4th year for Marvin Lewis's Bengals.
ESPN NFL Preseason Special is brought to you by Windows and ESPNShop.com, where you can get all of your official NFL sideline gear.
Great opportunity to get a good view of this continually booming city. Atlanta, Georgia. College Football Hall of Fame is going to be here starting in the very near future. So just adding to the landscape here in Atlanta. There's talk of a new Georgia Dome, $1 billion new building to replace this one. Some hurdles going on to try to get that finalized, but in the works. No return for Jaquiz Rogers. That was the rookie Quinn Sharp, showing a longer leg on that kickoff than he did on the first one. The Falcons are coming back. James Harrison was out there earlier. We're going to check out how he looked in a new position when we come back. After all those years with the Steelers, a guy who was not drafted, worked his way into the league, worked his way to great fame, Super Bowl success, Defensive Player of the Year. Also troubles and banging heads with the league office on how physical he could be in his hits. He's trying to do something different, change his position. We'll talk about that in a second. Dominic Davis's pass incomplete. John, show me what you saw when he was out there in the first quarter.
Well, in Pittsburgh, remember, he played right outside linebacker in their base 3-4 defense. That's where Harrison was for years. But in Cincinnati, he's going to be the Sam linebacker in a 4-3 defense. He's going to play off the line of scrimmage. He's going to see the game differently. And he has to do different things, Mike.
Davis out of the pocket, second consecutive pass incomplete, intended for Marcus Jackson. So what are the adjustments if you had to break it down to the position change?
Well, they're numerous, but he's going to be in a different stance. He's going to be lining up off the ball instead of on the line of scrimmage. His coverage responsibilities will be different. His run fits will be different. And he's got to learn to recognize play action pass and read out of the play fake and get back in his coverage. But there's a lot of new things that Harrison has to get familiarized with here in the next couple of weeks. They're confident he'll get it done.
Davis goes 0 for 3. Trying to throw Kevin Cohn, the intended receiver that time. So not a good series for the second-year man out of East Carolina.
What I'm really excited to see is where Harrison plays in the sub package, because the Bengals, they have a lot of really good pass rushers.
So you're talking like third down.
Third down.
Passing downs.
He played right end a lot of the time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Michael Johnson, their $11 million franchise player, plays right end. So it'll be interesting how Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, works Harrison into all these different defenses.
See what Giovanni Bernard does as a kick returner. The punt's big, 58 yards. And the 22, Bernard turns it about 9 to the 31-yard line. To a net of just under 50. When we come back, we'll talk to Matt Ryan, face of the franchise down here, the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan has had a terrific first 5 years for the Falcons. 56 career wins. That's an NFL best for a QB in his first 5 seasons. And only Dan Marino and Peyton Manning more TD passes. That is heady and great company to be in, but Matt Ryan has earned his way there. And we'll talk to Matt here momentarily as he gets a chance to visit with Lisa Salters on the sideline. Josh Johnson back in for Cincinnati. And on the carry, it's Cedric Pierman, the fourth-year man out of Virginia, who was waived by the Lions. There are a couple of battles going on behind Giovanni Bernard and Ben Jarvis Green Ellis to see who are going to be the other running backs here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Pierman, good special teams player. You're going to see Boom Herron from Ohio State. Rex Burkhead, another rookie out of Nebraska. Special teams is going to be a deciding factor for a lot of these linebackers and running backs. It always is.
And Bernard Scott as well, a fifth-year back who's coming back from an ACL injury. Johnson trying to hit. Who was a tight end is now an H-back, Orson Charles. That pass was incomplete. John, in this era where we have fewer and fewer fullbacks, the versatility of a player who once was a tight end, Orson Charles being now asked to do a bit of a different role.
And Orson Charles was an excellent receiving tight end at Georgia. Played a lot of receiver at high school down in Tampa at Plant High School. That time he's wide open in the flat. Josh Johnson been inconsistent as a passer in this league, and that continued right there.
Third down and 8, and Johnson lost it down the sideline with a flag down. That pass is incomplete. Heading for Kobe Hamilton, the rookie out of Arkansas, down the sideline. Two flags on the play, one back at the line of scrimmage as well.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, number 99, lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. pass interference, number 27, defense. That penalty will be accepted. Ball place at the spot of the foul. First down.
All right, Trey Kirkpatrick on that one. And let's go down now to Lisa Salter standing by with Matt Ryan.
Thanks, Mike. Well, Matt, perhaps no team is itching to get this thing going as much as you guys are with the way things ended last season. Just tell me, how hard was it really just to get over the season?
It takes a little bit of time, and it stings. You know, we were close, but didn't end up with the result that we wanted. But at the same time, part of being a professional is being able to move on and to look forward to what's ahead of us. And so I think everybody's done a really good job of that.
Now, for you guys, it's not about making the playoffs. It's not about getting a playoff win anymore. Is it fair to say it's Super Bowl or bust?
I think every year you have to have that approach that, you know, everything you do is geared towards winning a championship. And I think everybody has that mindset right now. I think everybody wants to win. We feel that sense of urgency right now, and we're going to try and do everything we can to do that.
Big addition for you and your arsenal on offense with Steven Jackson. What's impressed you most about what you've seen from him so far?
His professionalism. He's the consummate professional. Every day he shows up to work. He works extremely hard. He's very detailed in what he does, and I've loved having him around.
And Tony Gonzalez, he said he was 95% sure he wasn't coming back, and guess what? He's back for another season, not here tonight. But when did you find out that there was even a shot that he would come back?
You know, I kind of had a feel after the game at the end of last year that it might be a little bit more than 95%, but you know, I found out a couple of weeks before it went public, and I knew that he was going to come back. I was really excited about it.
What does that mean for this team to have him back?
It's huge. He's a great leader for us. He's obviously a great player, and you know, he's really hard to cover on third down for defenses. He's unbelievable in the red zone, so it means a lot.
How much were you in his ear in the offseason just to kind of gauge what he was thinking, to try to coax him to come back?
You know, I actually kind of let him do his thing. I think Tony's kind of earned that. He's had such an unbelievable career, and I think all the guys have such great respect for him that we kind of let him have the space and come to the decision himself.
All right, thanks, Matt, for your time.
Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, thank you. The Josh Johnson pass, game's first touchdown as he finds Brandon Tate in the end zone, the former Patriot trying to earn his spot here, a 21-yard score.
That's great for Brandon Tate. That's what Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, has been saying for some time. Brandon Tate is an excellent practice player. We need to see him do it in a game, and that time Josh Johnson shuts me up and throws a strike into tight coverage. That'll help Brandon Tate make his case as a number 2 receiver for this Bengal offense.
Quinn Sharp getting a chance to kick this extra point, knocks it through, and the Bengals score. So Johnson's deep ball, that was the pass interference on Robert McClain, 27 of Atlanta, gets him close, and Tate takes him in for the score. Center, the My Wish series, it returns. Special thanks to the athletes and teams, Russell Wilson, Roger Federer, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Casey Kane, RG3, all helped to make some wishes come true. The My Wish series starts Saturday at 11 on SportsCenter, which of course you can also see live on The Watch, ESPN app. So folks who've been dealt a very difficult and unfair hand get some of their dreams brought to life by some of their sports heroes. Look forward to watching that series once again. No return on the kick for Josh Vaughn, and let's go back to the Josh Johnson touchdown to Brandon Tate.
Oh, nice design. The play action pass eliminates the linebackers, and when Charles Mitchell rotates to the post, you'll see the ball thrown to the bottom of your screen on time on a little seam post to Brandon Tate. Excellent play design and great execution. Josh Johnson has played well tonight, running and passing. What you want to see?
Back to Dominique Davis. Back up for Atlanta. Jaquiz Rogers still in the game. He spins for about 5 yards. So both of these teams trying to find the guy who's going to be the backup. Look, if you lose Andy Dalton or you lose Matt Ryan, a lot of your hopes of the season go down the drain. We know that. But that 1 or 2 games, let's say they get hurt in a game, you're going to need somebody to come in at some point during a year, oftentimes, and just save a game. Kind of use a baseball parlance. That's why it's so important the preseason, all 4 games for both of these backup quarterbacks. Rodgers once again up the middle.
Look out there in that Bengal huddle right now on defense. I see number 99, Mike. Margus Hunt. Second-round draft choice out of SMU. Interesting story from Estonia. Didn't play football until late in his life. Great track and field athlete. Blocked 17 kicks at SMU. Starting to learn the game. Powerful man. They like his upside in Cincinnati.
Well, passed him the other day at the practice. These teams both practiced against each other for a couple of days before this game. This guy, Hunt, is huge. We're going to put the pressure on and force Davis to take off. And the former East Carolina quarterback has a first down.
It's like Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator. He said, quit juking everybody. Quit running around blockers. Go right down the middle and power rush these right tackles. That time he did a nice job against Ryan Schrader, the rookie from Valdosta. You want a big left end that can push and bull rush these right tackles. Hunt certainly has the strength to do it.
Rogers running to his right, and J.K. Schaefer, Cincinnati native, who also played for the Bearcats and now the Bengals, makes the tackle. You talk about Marcus Hunt, this very unique story out of the Northern European country of Estonia. At age 18, he won gold medals at the World Junior Track Championship, but he ended up playing football at SMU and coming up with those numbers of block kicks and sacks because the track program disbanded at SMU. He came from Estonia over to the U.S. to be a thrower, the discus and all the other stuff you were talking about. But that big, long, rangy body blocked all the kicks plus the sacks. Very unique prospect, taken in the second round, even though he's 26 years old now. Jason Snelling out of the backfield for Atlanta. Brought down by Schaefer again at the 40. It'll be 3rd and 2 coming up.
Nice rally to the ball. Bengals play a lot of zone coverage. Sometimes they blitz with zone coverage. Sometimes they don't. But they ask a lot of their linebackers. We saw Maualuga earlier in the game make a nice range tackle. That time it's the young Schaefer out of Cincinnati.
Davis to Rogers, picks up the first down. As he's brought down by the rookie Sean Williams. Another update. Once again, here's Chris Berman. Pierce. All right, we'll get back to Chris here momentarily as we're inside of 4 minutes in this first half. The Bengals on top, 10-3. First preseason game for these teams. Davis, look out, the pressure from behind. He got away from the would-be sack, but not getting away the second time from Jason DeMonch, the rookie out of Southern Illinois.
Well, the Falcon offensive line has to communicate. It's a weak side linebacker and a weak safety blitz coming together. And you see the left tackle for the Falcons, number 74, laid out of his stance, and Terrence Jones gets beaten quickly. You're going to be a lineman. In pro football, you have to recognize the pressure looks and respond better than that.
As some of you know, is French for Sunday.
I didn't know that.
I went to France like 2 days this summer. There's a run by Snelling inside for a couple of yards. He hopes to be a Sunday player as he's come out from Southern Illinois. Well, these are the numbers that Mike Zimmer's team put together, including the 51 sacks and all the pressure that they put on the passer. Really talking about John defense over the years in this division. Oh, the Steelers, of course, for years. The Ravens, Ray and Ed, and everybody else. Suggs, Nada. Do not overlook this defense in Cincinnati.
No, I would not. And they love this double-A linebacker blitz look. Sometimes they come and sometimes they don't.
Davis is flushed again. Stay in bounds. If he did, he threw a pick. As he did stay in bounds, it's ruled that pass is an interception by Brandon G, the 3rd-round pick in 2010.
Not what you want to see if you're Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, or Mike Smith, the head coach. Decisions when scrambling. Throw the ball away. There's Marcus Hunt, the man we just talked about. And I think this is a legal interception. And Marvin Lewis told us Brandon G has had an excellent camp. Fourth-year man out of Wake Forest, injured last year. Was one of the fastest corners in the draft a couple years ago. We've seen Kirkpatrick make plays. Now G, don't be surprised if the Bengals take a shot here in a sudden change.
Once again, like last year, all scoring plays and turnovers are reviewed, so they don't mark the ball ready for play until replay has confirmed that it was the correct call on the field and a turnover. And Cincinnati takes over, and Bernard takes it to the 46-yard line as we move in on the 2-minute warning. And every coach likes to see this when their offense has a young quarterback. Chance to watch it in the 2-minute drill. Josh Johnson gets to do that with his Bengals up 10-3. Toyota halftime show is coming up. Chris Berman and Hall of Famer Chris Carter standing by. Ravens Bucks highlights. Also a look at what's going on in Nashville with the Redskins and the Titans. And our NFL insiders will talk about the Eagles and the Patriots who've been working out together. And our NFL insiders, that would mean Susie Colbert, Chris Mortensen, Adam Schefter, Bill Polian. That new series on ESPN. Your NFL coverage early afternoon every day. It's Susie and the rest of our NFL insiders. John, I mentioned that the Patriots and Eagles have been working out against each other in advance of their preseason game. And same thing here for these teams. The head coaches know each other. Mike Smith and Marvin Lewis were together in Baltimore on Brian Billick's staff. So they know each other. They know they can communicate what we need to see, what I'd like to see. How do you think this works out for teams during training camp?
I think it's great. You get to see a different fastball, a different pitch. You know, you get so accustomed to seeing the same receivers, the same linemen, the same snap count every day. Change is good. It helps the development of all these players.
The Bengals came down to Georgia on Monday. Did a couple of full days of work with the Falcons. As Bernard takes it to the right, just shy of the first down. Paul Warlow again on the tackle. And then the teams were able to do their own work that they would have done back at their practice facility if they weren't together.
It's a shot time right here. 3rd and 1 in a 2-minute drill. I expect single coverage. Don't be surprised.
Bernard will run it to the right, try to pick up that first down, try to get out of bounds, and he does all of the above.
Well, I'm 0 for 2 predicting plays.
Well, what do you know about this, how this guy thinks?
Spent a lot of time with my brother Mike, but he does like this back. Giovanni Bernard gets the first down on his own. It's an area where Cincinnati was outstanding last year. 3rd and short. Then Jarvis Green Ellis was very good in that situation. And to have a compliment like Bernard is exciting for this Bengal offense.
See, the Bengals can get the Falcons can get a pass rush on the Bengals. Instead, there's time to throw. And it's the first down to Richard Quinn, tight end out of North Carolina, formerly drafted by the Broncos. Had a timeout taken. With the ball at the 29-yard line of Atlanta. We're just talking about your brother and the youth on this offense. Andy Dalton and A.J. Green have only been around for a couple of years. And that's not all. So in addition to Bernard and Eifert in this year's draft, a lot of young contributors who've been a part of the back-to-back playoff seasons in Cincinnati.
It's one of Jay's strengths, and it's an area I really am impressed by. I struggled coaching young players, but he's got a lot done with Andy Dalton, the great A.J. Green, early in their careers. Clint Bowling started last year. Zeitler was a rookie. Mohamed Sanu was brilliant in the first half of the season before the injury, and I'm seeing Eifert, Bernard, a lot of young players flourish under Jay. It's a credit to him.
Screen set up for Bernard, and not going anywhere. Warlow has made 4 tackles in the second quarter. Undrafted, free agent rookie out of Delaware, 4-year starter. He was the state defensive player of the year during his high school days in Delaware. As with inside of a minute, the Bengals will stay in this no huddle, trying to score before halftime. Bernard cannot get the pass. Low pressure up the middle from Jonathan Massaquoi again for Atlanta.
That's where Josh Johnson needs to keep his poise, reset, and slide in the pocket. That's a play that Josh has to make. You have an opportunity to get a completion, a rally after the catch, and set up a field goal. But that time, he got a little nervous in the pocket. and you saw him jab the ball into the dirt. Frustrated.
On the Atlanta side, definitely looking for a pass rush from some of these players who are not part of the first unit. You point out they need some of their young players to step up and get pressure. Time for Johnson there, and the pass is caught, and then the ball goes out of bounds, but it's ruled a catch inside the 10 by Quinn. 8 of 24, and a Bengal timeout with 38 seconds remaining till halftime.
Great throw by Josh Johnson, and outstanding blitz pickup by the Bengals. You're going to see the back come across the formation and pick up a zone blitz. That's a nice job by Giovanni Bernard, knowing who to block and giving Josh Johnson a chance to stride through a throw. And you see the talent that Josh Johnson has, and this playing time throughout the preseason will help him. And that is a catch, Mike.
Control the ball down, and then always look for, once you establish those first two parts, can you make an action common to the game of football? Can you turn around and do something with it? He had it, came down to the ground, holding it, started moving it in his arm, and then the safety, Schillinger, pulled it out. First and goal from the 9, and Johnson gets 3 to the 6, one timeout, 30 seconds left. Gonna kill it, gonna run a play. Try to squeeze a play in here. In the end zone and incomplete. Trying to get it to Kobe Hamilton, the rookie out of Arkansas, fellow rookie Robert Alford in the way.
I like what I've seen from Alford tonight. There's Hamilton. Had a great year at Arkansas, but Alford has made some excellent plays as a tackler that time. He shows his vertical and breaks up the pass.
This guy was the National Defensive Player of the Year at the FCS level, the level below the top of college football, and has opened eyes in Falcons camp. Third and goal with a timeout. The run for Bernard. He's just shy as Schillinger, the safety, came up to stop him. And the Bengals use that final timeout with 7 seconds left to set up either go for it or a field goal.
Great opportunity to go for it. Check out your short yardage, your goal line offense. Jay Gruden talking things over with Marvin Lewis. He's going to get his jumbo package out there, it looks like.
John, I called Massaqua's name before for Atlanta. You're talking about a bunch of guys who are the M's that you have been mentioned to us during the week who are very important. This is a fourth down situation. They're going to go for it.
Yep.
They have young defensive linemen who need to be step-up players on this Falcon team this year.
Can't be OCU Manura show all year. Stanley Mopanga, Jonathan Massaquoi, Cliff Matthews, Malachi Goodman. Some of these M's got to step up on 4th and goal.
John Connor is the fullback, the former Jet, leading the way as Bernard gets into the end zone for a Cincinnati touchdown.
That's impressive for the young halfback out of Carolina to slam it across the goal line behind John Connor, the ex-New York Jet. They're going to pull the backside guard and run a power play right off the right side, and that's an excellent job surging by this Bengal offensive line. Score with your man. Pad level wins. Cincinnati got him that time.
And with about half the field to work with, Josh Johnson did a nice job. In the 2-minute, Mike Nugent adds the extra point, and it's 17-3 Cincinnati here with a couple of seconds before halftime. We talk about how plays made by young quarterbacks can't be made in certain places on the field. Dominic Davis from Atlanta, that throw that he made going out of bounds trying to force a play turns into an interception by G, gives the Bengals half the field. They come down and score.
Let me tell you about these backup quarterbacks, Mike. On the sidelines, their teammates are watching this carefully. Those Bengal players, they're excited for Josh Johnson. They're really anxious to see what he can do in this offense. And you can see the enthusiasm that he's generated on this Bengals sideline, but he's done it with his legs. He broke out of the pocket twice. This one a long run. And the second one, he escapes off a stunt, and off he goes again. But he did an excellent job the first time around with his legs. And then a pinpoint seam post in the red zone for a touchdown. Then off the sudden change, he takes the Bengals down the field again. I'm impressed with what Josh has done.
After his time in Tampa, Josh went to San Francisco to play for Jim Harbaugh, the coach he played for in college at the University of San Diego. Leaving there with Cleveland for one last game before the season came to an end last year, and now trying to be the Bengals number 2. The half comes to an end here, and Cincinnati will start with the ball. It is 17-3 Bengals as we send it back to the studio and Chris Berman for the Toyota halftime show. Back to the lineup for the second half here on our first preseason Thursday edition of Monday Night Football. Bengals 17, Falcons 3. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters down on the sideline. Lisa will be talking to some of the big names from both teams during this second half. John, we talk about the length of the preseason. Stay healthy. Don't get your guys hurt, whatever you do. But from a coach's perspective, what's the second half of this first preseason game all about? What are they looking for from their teams?
Well, the first and the fourth preseason game is when you get to look at your entire roster. So this second half of the first preseason game is the only time you're going to get a chance to see a lot of these young players extensively. So they have to make the most of these opportunities, not just for their respected teams, but for everybody in the league that gets these tapes to study them. That's what I'm looking for. Young players playing as well as they can. It's the only showcase they have.
And for these Falcons, I'm sure they would like to see their offense look a little crisper and better. They know Matt Ryan's going to be fine, but they're looking for a backup quarterback. Dominique Davis didn't look very sharp in his action. Sean Renfree, the 7th-round pick out of Duke, will see action as we go through this second half. Kick for Alabama, the national champs. Jeremy Shelley's the kick man for the Falcons here to start this second half. And Ontario McCaleb, speaking of the SEC, speed merchant out of Auburn. He's trying to make the switch from running back to defensive back. Shy of the 20-yard line. Here's Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike, well, I talked to Marvin Lewis going into the locker room, and he said that he was really impressed, as you guys were, with the way Josh Johnson played in that first half. He said he really, other than one snap, he said he really did play with a lot of poise. And he said, you know what, we know that he can make plays with his legs, but in order to earn a living in this league, at the quarterback position, you got to throw the ball, and he's showing us that he can do that. Mike.
All right, Lisa, that's a good point, too, because you saw Johnson running around early on. The last two drives were much more of what you need to see if you ever have to come in and be in the situation to replace Andy Dalton. Some hard running there from Cedric Pierman. Takes it just shy of the 25-yard line.
It's the only time, Mike, where you get a chance to work on the depth and versatility of your football team. If you look out in the Bengal huddle, you want to see your left tackle play a little bit of right tackle. Your right guard needs to play some center. You want to see which of your linemen has some versatility. And the same with this Falcon defense. Can your inside linebacker play in the sub package? Can you have a corner that can be a nickel corner? You have to be versatile as a backup player, and that includes special teams. That's what Mike Smith is looking for. That's what Marvin Lewis is looking for, and that's what everybody in the league is doing at this time of the year.
And that becomes so important when you're trying to drop your active roster for game day. You need that swing offensive lineman who is your 8th offensive lineman dressed. I need you to play tackle, guard, center if we have an emergency of some sort.
Exactly.
3rd and 3. It's a shotgun run. And fighting for the first down yardage is Pierman. And he'll be a yard short, so it's 3 and out for Cincinnati on this opening drive. And they'll kick it to the Falcons.
It's a good way to start the second half. Excuse me, Mike. These young Falcon defenders force a 3 and out. Hopefully can get some field position and get this Falcon offense revved up as we begin the third.
The second-round pick, Robert Alford, who was out on defense for those first 3 snaps, drops back to show his return skills.
He can fly.
He'll fly to go back and get that Huber punt. Well covered, just a couple of yards on the return, and that is Rex Burkhead, the Nebraska running back. Talking about guys who need to make an impact on special teams to earn a job. Burkhead with that coverage tackle.
Copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports, and NFLShop.com. Get back to football with the newest styles at NFLShop.com.
For almost 7 decades, they've been serving it up after frying it up. Chicken at Mary Mac's Tea Room. One of the uniquely southern spots here in Atlanta. That's Lamar Holmes, 76. He's the right tackle. He started the game. He is still in there for the Atlanta Falcons. It's a position of great attention with this team. Jason Snelling on the carry to the 20-yard line. We're watching the jobs they're trying to win, and let's look at Holmes from the first half, John.
Thought he did some really good things on the second level. You see him get up and seal Vontaze Burfict. Good work in pass protection. He's got long arms. He's a natural athlete. Spent a lot of his time at left tackle.
No huddle. Davis throwing down the seam, and the ball is ruled incomplete. It hit the turf before Drew Davis could scoop it up.
Well, the blitz is on, and Davis comes out of the fake with a wide open receiver right down the seam. You'd like to see Dominic Davis make these throws. Right now, 2 for 12, Mike, and this Falcon offense hasn't moved at all. With the former East Carolina Pirate in the game.
And we have a challenge here from Mike Smith, the Falcons coach. Gonna take a look at that. Hey, you guys, it's a preseason for
Atlanta
you.
is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Check the challenge mechanism for Walt Coleman.
I love these challenges.
Yeah, preseason, just get you ready for the regular season. Falcons challenge. So Drew Davis, did he catch it or not catch it? Walt Coleman is looking at these angles to determine if Davis certainly gets his hands on it. Gains control. Now the question is, does he lose control at all as he comes down to the ground and the ball touches the ground? Or does he keep that right hand there in position?
Oh, we have Jerry Austin here, Mike.
Yes, we do, for the 2nd straight year.
Drove all the way from North Carolina to get here. What do you think?
Jerry Austin is a referee in 2 Super Bowls. Jerry, what'd you think there?
I don't think there's enough evidence to turn this play over. It appears he gets his hands underneath the ball, but then the ball slides through his hands and does touch the ground as it goes from control by one hand to the other hand. In my opinion, you've got to stay with incomplete on this pass.
Let's see what Walt Coleman saw.
After reviewing the play, the receiver got his hands under the ball. This is a completed catch. 1st and 10 for Atlanta at the 42-yard line.
See, you and Walt.
Atlanta will not be charged a timeout.
You and Walt Coleman don't see eye to eye either, Jerry.
You mean like you and Walt Coleman, John?
Yeah, I'm just kidding you guys. Hard to be an official, especially a white hat.
But Jerry, your point on that play, and we're going to see a whole bunch of them in the regular season, so we get reacquainted with all these things. Ruled incomplete on the field.
Yes.
So you needed to be 100% sure what you saw in replay was a catch.
And I don't think there was sufficient evidence to overturn that call.
I'm going to use Jerry's expertise a little bit later on in the second half, as with every year there are rules changes to discuss and how that'll impact how the game's played. Snelling on the run. Gets it across midfield. John, I want to go back to that pass thrown by Dominique Davis. We're looking for more out of Davis in the second half, and that wasn't a great pass.
No, it wasn't. The blitz was on. He's got to stand in the face of pressure a little bit better than he did there and give his receivers a chance to run with the ball after they catch it. He needs to settle down right here. This is the biggest game of his life. Been inactive for a long time. Last time we saw Dominic Davis was in the preseason last year at this time.
Jumping into a little bit of no huddle. He can do this well. Escape and run. Bounces off a tackle to the 34-yard line to pick up a first down. Davis was with Matt Ryan at Boston College. As Ryan was wrapping up his career, Davis was coming in, backed up. Came in the year that Chris Crane replaced Matt Ryan after Ryan went on to the NFL. But then left Boston College with an academic issue, went to Fort Scott Community College, where he was able to go up against Cam Newton in the junior college national championship game. And then went on to East Carolina for his last 2 years before coming to the NFL. Hands to Snelling. Gets to the 31-yard line.
And you see what offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter is doing with young Dominic Davis. He's putting them in a no-huddle offense. This is where Matt Ryan is at his best. And Dirk Cutter, one of the best offensive coaches in pro football, is seeing if his young quarterback can decipher the Bengal defense and pick a play that is best for the Atlanta Falcons.
31. Snelling with the catch. Been a busy man here. Yard shy of the first down before J.K. Schaefer brings him down.
That's what you want to see. Young quarterback, the primary receiver is covered. That's what Dirk Cutter told us. You drop back the pass, you look down the field, the primary receiver is covered. Get off it and throw the ball to your outlet receiver. Good work.
On the run, a throw. That's caught. The 10-yard line. James Rogers, brother of Jaquiz. He's 14 months older, although Jaquiz has been in the league longer. The running back, Jaquiz, the receiver, James. The Rogers did a lot of good work at Oregon State.
Nice throw by Dominic Davis. Clearly the Bengals have been playing a zone coverage. Haven't seen many blitzes to start this second half, and I expect that to continue.
For Snelling to the 8-yard line. You mentioned the no huddle and jumping in, especially with a younger quarterback who's never taken a regular season snap. You want to make sure that all the stuff he's done in the film room, in the meeting room, and on the practice field translates in a game.
And if he can use his snap count to decipher the defense and pick the appropriate play that best suits the Falcon offense.
From the 8, Dominic Davis. Incomplete. Try to force it through to Devontae Campbell, fullback rookie out of Maryland, who caught 10 balls in his time with the Terps.
And ball should have been caught. No pass rush whatsoever. It allows Dominic Davis to really take a good look at this bunch formation pattern. Campbell came open late. Like to see him catch that one.
Davis was born to be a star in Atlanta. His name is Dominique Deion Davis, named by his brothers after Dominique Wilkins and Deion Sanders. Gets it to Snelling, gets it to the end zone. Falcon touchdown.
Tank screen. Dirk Cutter, one of the best screen coaches I've studied in a while. In the first half, they get a big one to Harry Douglas on the perimeter. That time, it's a little bluff screen to a back. And Jason Snelling, who caught 31 passes last year, proves his versatility once again. A lot of different screens from this Falcon offense, and really 45% of this pass offense comes after the catch, and the screen game is a big part of that.
He out of Alabama, the place kicker, back-to-back national championships. Jeremy Shelley on to add the extra point. Well, that ruling on the replay that gave the Falcons a completion, up moving down the field for Davis. Got in the end zone. Tonight, in this first full preseason week, including the Chargers and the Seahawks. And then next week, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers come to Chicago to see Jay Cutler and the Bears. Bears open up their preseason tomorrow night against Carolina. So that's coming up for you a week from tonight. Our second of 4 preseason games. We'll be in Washington to see the Steelers in Washington in a couple of weeks on a Monday night. And wrap up our preseason with Carolina and Baltimore and get ready for the opening Monday night doubleheader. And we'll be in Washington to see the Eagles and the Redskins and all the stories that could be going on there. We mentioned Ontario McKinnon, great speed, trying to make the transition to corner, but really his return ability and speed might be the difference maker if he's able to find a full-time roster spot in the NFL. Caleb ran a 4.34 at the combine. So you got to catch it before you can show the speed. No return. Lisa Salters has one of the new Bengals.
Thank you, Mike. I'm with James Harrison. James, you know, what was it like for you in the locker room today putting on that uniform?
It was no different than any other day. I just was wearing a different uniform, that's all.
You were saying before the game that you didn't think it was going to be any different, but you were with the team for 11 seasons. How could it not be different?
Well, you know, it's just a change of venue, change of, you know, scenery. You know, to keep employment, I had to go somewhere else. We couldn't come to an agreement, and I'm where I'm at now, and I'm going to do what I can when I'm here.
You continued to say great things about the Steelers, but what was your reaction when you were released?
I kind of knew it was going to happen, to be honest with you, you know, from the beginning of the talks, because of how the talks were going. I really didn't think anything would get accomplished as far as something, you know, comfortable with, you know, that I would be comfortable with and that they would be comfortable with. I didn't think it would be, you know, an agreement, you know, made, and it wasn't. So that's kind of something that I knew from the beginning that was going to happen.
Do you use what happened as motivation? Do you have those games circled on the calendar?
No, you know, like I said, you know, I'm thankful and grateful for everything that the Rooney's have done for me, you know, and the Steelers organization, you know, my former teammates. But right now I'm here. This is where you know, I'm getting paid to play. This is where I'm going to do the same thing I did for the Bengals, you know, that I did for the Steelers.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you playing in a different base package?
Lining up in 30, 40, you know, behind, you know, the tackles, over tackles, behind, you know, over guards. It's a little different, especially getting downhill. You know, like my first play, you know, I didn't come down hard enough, and Steve gave me a little weak stiff arm that kind of slowed me down. So, you know, I got to get used to that. How
long does it take to get used to that, to feel comfortable?
I don't know. We'll see. You know, I finally got some like game speed reps, so I'll you know, take what I learned here over this first quarter and you know, take it into practice for the next week or so and start the next preseason game.
All right, thanks for your time and good luck the rest of the season. Mike.
Lisa, thank you. James Harrison, who, if you saw Hard Knocks, as the Bengals are featured on that HBO series, was running away from the camera, not very talkative. We had a great 10 or 12-minute visit with James yesterday at the hotel the Bengals are staying at. And I respect that he had nothing bad to say about the Steelers in his time there, his decade there. It's an opportunity where he could have said how disappointed he was. Applaud him for that. The throw on third down by Josh Johnson is complete to Ryan Whalen. And it's a first down for Cincinnati. Their second one on this drive. Kobe Hamilton had a little receiver run for a first down earlier.
Good audible by Josh Johnson. He sees man coverage. He has Whalen on the outside, and Peyton Thompson just can't quite make a firm flush tackle. Good work by Whalen fighting for the first down.
It's a run for Rex Burkhead. We had the flag down. We mentioned it earlier. Rex, the 6th-round pick out of Nebraska. So productive that last year in Lincoln, was limited by the knee sprain.
Holding, number 88, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
I'm talking to a guy who gained over 3,300 yards during his days with the Cornhuskers. 35 touchdowns, such a stud, not just on the field, John, but academically and in the community, and part of the Nebraska success the last 3+ years.
That's a great bonus, the kind of kid Rex is. But when you go to the combine, Rex Burkhead had the second fastest short shuttle there. One of the top 5 leading rushers in Cornhusker history. This kid can catch the ball. You've already seen him make a nice play on special teams, and here he is picking up a blitz.
And Dane Sanzenbacher with the catch for the Bengals. What?
Sanzenbacher.
You like him?
I love that name. I've been waiting for 4 years to hear you say that. This kid can play. The former Ohio State Buckeye, that time on a deep outside break-in route. Excellent work by Dane Sanzenbacher. Beating Dominic Franks for a first down.
Come on, say it with conviction. 23-yard gain by
Sanzenbacher.
Thank you. Johnson continuing to throw the ball well. Kobe Hamilton, the intended receiver, incomplete. with Robert Alford again in coverage.
I'll tell you, Tim Lewis, the secondary coach of the Falcons, has to be very pleased with Robert Alford's play tonight. He's got tremendous ball skills. I've seen this kid make one-handed catches. He can blur the screen with that 4.35 speed. He's got a future as a return man. He's made some physical flush tackles tonight. Nice work by the rookie from Southeast Louisiana.
Design run by the quarterback Johnson as he's taken down. Here's Chris Berman with an update on the Broncos and the 49ers.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Well, little defense here. Nate Irving, bam, with the hit on DJ Harper. One-time Chargers Sean Phillips with the touchdown recovery. Broncos lead 7-3 at Candlestick late second.
Sean Phillips. Interesting to see Phillips with that score there. The Falcons will visit Candlestick in the last regular season game in that great old stadium on the Monday night before Christmas. Flag down as Johnson just runs and tries to get rid of it with Jonathan Massaquoi chasing. Play was sloppy from the start. It was nice to have the full-time officials back. Remember last year this time, that was so much of the story in the preseason, the labor dispute, the lockout with the officials.
Illegal formation on the offense. That penalty be declined. 4th down.
Marvin Lewis sends the field goal team out. Speaking of the officials, there is a developmental official who's working with each crew. After there are 21 of them total. They're not on the field for this game. These are some of the top college officials that have been identified by the NFL, and those officials will work some in the preseason the next couple of weeks before going back to college as they try to identify the next group of NFL officials down the line. So here's Quinn Sharp to try a field goal. I mentioned the big leg for the rookie out of Oklahoma State. Mike Nugent's likely to maintain the kicking job here. A 47-yard attempt for Sharp. That's strong. Good stuff. Good kicker, good punter, strong leg on kickoffs. Trying to find a place in the league. Got into his problems here in Atlanta. They had to hit the reset button, and the start was hiring that man, Thomas Dimitroff, to run the football operations, take over as the general manager. He's made some great personnel decisions, starting with bringing in Mike Smith as the head coach and then Matt Ryan. They all come in together, have done this tremendous job, and the Falcons have had the best record in the NFC 2 of the last 3 years, and trying to add the pieces now, John, to get over the top. And you go out and get Steven Jackson, OC Umenyiora. We're replacing productive Falcons in Michael Turner and John Abraham, but trying to take that last step to get to the Super Bowl.
He's done an excellent job, and you got to credit Arthur Blank for going out and hitting these high-profile free agents that have really helped turn this franchise around.
No return by Josh Vaughn. We mentioned the two free agents, Jackson and Umenyiora. We'll talk to Lisa after this. Atlanta, the new home of two familiar NFL faces, standing by with Lisa.
Thanks, Michael. You guys really do have a lot in common. You know, both have established careers, Pro Bowlers, come into a new team. Guys, you got to listen to me. You got to listen to me, OC. Come on now. Steven, you got to listen to me. Okay. All right. But really, you guys do have a lot in common. What is it like? We talked about this the other day. Steven, I'm going to start with you. What's it like to be who you are, Pro Bowler, but come into a new squad and have to kind of, like you said, start all over?
You know what? It's been an interesting transition for myself. You know, getting to know the guys, getting to know the way the Atlanta Falcons do things, and still come with, you know, the credibility that I came with. It's been a really good transition for me. They really embraced me, and I've had a great camp so far.
Now, OC, you were saying that you really do have to start over and not step on toes, things like that. You have to worry about that, being who you are?
Yeah, well, you know, It's a great team. You know, they were a great team before I got here, before he got here anyway. So you can't just come in here and just start trying to implement all the things that you've done before. You got to see what they were doing and just try to add your own input every now and then.
Now, in addition to just getting used to all the new faces around the building, your teammates, something new for you, you're standing up this year. What is that like for you?
Well, it's different, but, you know, something I've always looked forward to, something I think I can do. The scheme that Mike Nolan runs calls for that, and that's just something I'm going to have to do this year sometimes.
And, Stephen, for you, we were just talking during the break that you've just got to be giddy. You haven't been on a winning team your entire career. What's it like to be here? Well, you described it as football heaven.
I mean, it's been a blessing. It's not often that a running back at 30 gets to start over with a fresh start, but I mean, I'm very excited, looking forward to the season, and, you know, just looking forward for what's in store.
All right, thank you both for doing this together, and good luck the rest of the season. Thank you, guys.
And Lisa, thank you. Dominique Davis has that pass batted out of his hand and a flag down as it's ruled incomplete. Devin Still, second-year man out of Penn State, a lot expected from him this year in a third defensive tackle role here for Atlanta.
Illegal use of hands to the face, 69 offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
O.C. Umenyiora, he's going through some change just like James Harrison is. I remember O.C. playing for the Giants at right end. He had this 4-point stance, and man, he could get off the ball. He had a 3-point sprinter stance. It looked good too, but here in Atlanta, Mike Nolan is going to stand him up for the first time, and it's new to him. He's going to play on the left side, the right side. They're going to walk him all over the place and utilize his speed and savvy, and it's stimulated O.C. He likes this Mike Nolan defense. He also knows he's got some big shoes to fill because John Abraham was a great clutch performer for these Falcons. He made a lot of big plays down the stretch in big situations, and O.C.'s got to fill those shoes.
A lot of key sacks that Abraham had and key moments of games. Timeout taken by the Bengals. They had 12 players on the field, something you'll often see. Special teams, first preseason game. You talk about Abraham, John. That's a lot of sack numbers, much like he had with the Jets. Almost underappreciated given the productivity he had.
I don't understand why. He put me in a different profession with that inside move. A proud member of the 10-5 club. He had double-digit sacks, 5 batted down passes, and this guy can rush the passer. And Atlanta knows they've got a couple really exciting new players, but they've also got to replace some outstanding Atlanta Falcons who did it well for a long time.
53 yards on the punt. Here goes Sanzenbacher.
Is this Sanzenbacher?
Yes, it is.
I love that name.
Touchdown, Cincinnati.
He's not the biggest wide receiver. He's not the fastest wide receiver. Nobody wanted him at the combine. All this kid does is make plays. I think Sanzenbacher should hire me as his agent.
Yes, he should.
Line drive punt. If you can't directional punt, you're going to get in trouble in this league. But Sanzenbacher takes it right down to numbers. He bounces it outside. He picks up a couple blocks, and good for him.
71-yard punt return for the touchdown by Sanzenbacher, his 4-year career at Ohio State, where he caught 19 touchdowns, left in the top 10 of Ohio State's all-time receiving list, was a good impact player on the Bears in his rookie season, caught 27 balls for Chicago, but fell out of the rotation as the Bears upgraded their receiving corps. They went away from Sanzenbacher last year, only 1 catch, cut by them. Cincinnati grabbed him. Ohio State guy back in the great state of Ohio with a TD. I've always wondered, watching preseason games in the studio, doing SportsCenter over the years, special team scores in the preseason, I always discount because most of the players who are trying to cover aren't going to be there with you once you start the regular season. Is that right of me or wrong of me? What would you take out of a Sanzenbacher score like that?
A lot of these guys made blocks. That's going to help them make this team also.
Okay.
But anytime a player does something positive, you take something from it.
Another unreturnable kickoff on the long kickoff. Once again, we started talking about the rules changes for 2013. Here are the key ones. Player can't lead with the crown of their helmet outside the tackle box. It's going to affect some of the running backs. We'll talk about that in a second. The tuck rule has been eliminated. John was a part of the most famous one with the playoff game with the Raiders and Patriots back a decade plus ago. Peel blocks illegal. That's the play that took Brian Cushing out for the season on a Monday night. Jets in Houston. some changes to protect kicking game offensive linemen, and the challenge flag deal, the one Jim Schwartz threw in the Thanksgiving Detroit-Houston game, that has been changed significantly so that the review will still happen on the play, but you'll be flagged 15 yards if you throw the flag on a touchdown or a turnover, which are the automatic review plays. I want to get back to this. I think, John, the rule that opened some eyes in terms of player safety, that's what the running backs can do. We're going to bring in Jerry Austin and talk about the runners and putting your head down. The pass is caught for the gain of a couple of yards. So if the runner initiates forcible contact and delivers the blow at the top of the crown of his helmet, it's a three-part criteria. Does he line him up? Does he lower his head? And then deliver a forcible blow with the crown of his helmet to any part of a defender's body. If that happens, it's a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty. And after this third down, we'll bring in Jerry Austin to explain how the officials are going to see that and how they're going to call it during the year. Dominique Davis. And his pass is complete to Darius Johnson for the first down. All right, Jerry, let's talk about this. And how difficult is it going to be for the officials to call that play on runners in those situations outside the tackle box?
I think the two key things for an official, he's going to look, does that runner or the defender turn and line up an opponent? Next, if he lowers his head, those two things are going to make him watch that play more closely. He's kind of going to zero in on that play, and for it to be a foul, it has to be with the crown of the helmet, the very top of the helmet. Can't be the forehead, has to be the middle of the helmet.
Josh Vaughn with the carry for 2 yards, and that's a key point. So if a running back, John, you were bringing this up, as running backs lower themselves, if he hits with the face mask or the other part here, okay, no flag?
No foul. If he hits him in the middle of the helmet, which is the crown, that's when it becomes a foul, and it applies to both offense and defense.
These are plays that happen outside the tackle box. So if we get a play down by the goal line where a guy's trying to go in and he lowers his head, that's not going to be a foul?
No, that's inside the tackle box. When 5 yard in, it's treated as a tackle box.
Vaughn on the screen, and the 30-man from Richmond is tripped up. John, how do you think that rule will change or impact the game at all?
I've never seen the play called before. I see it at ultra high speed slow-mo when you slow it down at 180 frames a second. But I want to see it called in a game, because when it is, it'll be the first time I've ever seen it.
Do you think we'll see it called a lot, Joe?
No. When they look for examples to make it a foul, they only had the two high-profile plays, the one involving Richardson from Cleveland and then Peterson from Minnesota.
We showed you the Trent Richardson play, so not many of the plays from last year will have been called, but significant, and again in the vein of player safety, how most rule changes come up in the league now. A pass for Kevin Cohn is incomplete. We'll have Jerry back later to talk about the Tuck rule, which is the other rule that's changed. John, would you like to do that a bit later on?
Yeah, let's have a real good party after the game because they abolished the Tuck rule.
That's going to be known as a group.
I'm going to have a parade in my hotel, 9th floor. Mike, join me. They abolished the Tuck rule 10 years later. Why'd they get rid of the rule?
We can talk about that in the fourth quarter. That will be worth people staying around. You know what? We can just do it now. Another punt by Bosher. Sansabacher out of bounds there and will not return it. So the Tuck rule, the infamous Tuck rule, is no more. Any loss of control after a passer starts to tuck the ball back towards his body is now a fumble. This play in the Steeler-Giant game, which was ruled a fumble, helped change the rule this year. And of course, this is the famous one we're talking about from the AFC Divisional Playoff game in 2001. Jerry, you got the ball here, so explain how things are different this year.
In the past, it was a pass until the ball came all the way back to the body.
Look.
I'm getting sick. I can't. Currently, once that ball starts back toward the body, then the pass is over, and it will be a fumble if the quarterback loses it.
Burkhead on the carry there. Instant replay coming into the NFL helped change the decision-making on keeping the Tuck rule or losing the Tuck rule, right?
Yes, it did, because if there's an immediate recovery by the opponent, they can have the ball. So replay made it a fair application of the rule to change the tuck, to make it a fumble. There's always been concern by the referee on the field. Is the ball, where is it when he starts coming back? Did he get it all the way back or not?
Walt Coleman, who's the referee in this game, was the one who was involved in the 2001 game.
He's invited to the party, too. I'm going to invite Walt.
Did you know about the tuck rule before it happened?
No one knew about the
Yeah.
tuck rule.
Yeah.
No one alive knew about the tuck rule. And it affected my life in a negative way, unfortunately. But I'm happy the rule is finally put to bed. It's a great day in pro football.
In 26 years, I had it one time.
One time. Incredible. Burkhead.
There goes Burkhead.
Again with the carry across midfield. By the way, for what it's worth, the Steelers who were involved, because Ben Roethlisberger pumped so much, they wanted to keep the rule in because it could impact it that way. And Robert Kraft and the Patriots, in almost memory of Al Davis, did what the Raiders did very often, abstained in the vote on the tuck rule. Thank you. Great to have you back with us all year.
It's great to be here.
That was a great segment, Jerry. Thanks.
First preseason game for the Bengals and the Falcons here in Atlanta. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, who I believe John is still here with us after our rules breakdown. Lisa Salters down on the sideline. We'll be back here for a Monday night game in October when the Jets come to town. It'll be interesting to see what the Jets quarterback situation is as they get their preseason started tomorrow night against the Lions. We know who the starters are here. Andy Dalton for Cincinnati and Matt Ryan for Atlanta. We've been watching the backups, and Josh Johnson was in for a good part of that second half. And now it is John Skelton, who was a starting quarterback in the league last year, hands to Boom Herron, who carries to the 38-yard line. John Skelton, waived by the Cardinals. A man who came in out of Fordham as a rookie and started the 4 final games of that 2010 season. 7 starts in 2011. Kevin Cobb's injury situation. And then last year won the job for the opener, but was injured in that first game against Seattle. Ended up starting 6 games for the Cardinals. And once Arizona traded for Carson Palmer, John, they waived Skelton, and here he comes. He signs with Cincinnati. And you brought up a great point as you were preparing for this game. Cincinnati and their front office had a real physical memory of what John Skelton can do. It's one of the reasons they picked him up.
Exactly. Mike Brown remembers John Skelton almost bringing the Cardinals back to beat the Bengals late 2 years ago in Cincinnati.
Pressured up the middle. A pass incomplete. The pressure came.
But Skelton is not a pure West Coast passer. This is a new offense to him. Different management of the protection system, different route combinations. It's been a work in progress for him. But when you play against a young quarterback who has a career day against you, you have a hard time forgetting that. And Skelton is still a young quarterback, and he does have size and passing ability, but he has struggled to a degree finding his rhythm in this offense.
Just 25 years old, 4th year in the league. Skelton throws to Sanzenbacher.
I'll tell you.
For another touchdown.
He found his rhythm on that throw. Sluggo seam. He does an excellent job standing in the pocket. Looks off the free safety. Maybe I should be Dane Sanzenbacher's agent. Just a seam pattern. He goes right down the inside rim of the numbers, and rookie free safety Ishmael from Central Florida is late getting there. Great throw.
You mentioned the learning curve for Skelton. Josh Johnson was exposed to this very similar offense and verbiage with you when you drafted him in Tampa, and Jay has a not the same but very similar offense. So that was an easy transition for Josh as he came here. Different for Skelton, and what we're seeing here is Dane Sanzenbacher continues to be productive. A punt return and a receiving touchdown here tonight.
This ESPN NFL preseason special is brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward. Back in Atlanta, where Cincinnati looks very good. Always
take it with a grain of salt. First preseason game and scores, who's in the game, but the Bengals' depth has shown, and that's not something we have spoken of very often in the last decade. The quality of the depth of the Cincinnati roster. You see it here tonight. 34-10. Josh Vaughn gets his hands on one to return. He can't get it past the 15-yard line.
As Sonnenbacher got the outside release, he squared one off for a big first down. Then he blew this game open with a 70-yard punt return. He picked up a couple blocks down the field, but he shows his deceptive speed, and then right down the seam, no fear, great concentration. He's helped himself tonight. Kid can play. He can do a lot of different things. Play 3-4 different positions. Help you out on special teams, and you can count on him.
Toledo, Ohio. New quarterback in for the Falcons, Sean Renfrey, the 7th-round pick out of Duke. As he hands off, we'll talk about Sean in a bit. Lisa's standing by with Andy Dalton of the Bengals.
Thank you, Mike. Andy, you got to the playoffs your first 2 seasons, but you've said it's time to take the next step. No excuses. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I think we got to be consistent. You know, obviously we got to get back to the playoffs first of all, and you know, at the end of the year we got to be hot. And we got to be playing our best football. And unfortunately, the last 2 years we haven't done that once we got there. But you know, that's the goal this year. And you know, we've put a lot of good work in training camp so far. So hopefully that's what we'll achieve.
What have you done personally to get better?
I think I'm just taking more control of everything. You know, offensively, all the stuff that we're doing with checks at the line, and just making sure everybody's on the same page with everything. I think I've done a good job of that, and got to keep improving, keep getting better.
Now there's a battle for your backup. Josh Johnson did a great job when he was in there, and then John Skelton comes right in there, drives him down for a touchdown throw. What do you like from what you're seeing from those guys? You
know, they're both playing well. You know, Josh came in, he ran around. He when things weren't there, he was making plays with his feet, and you know, he threw a touchdown. And then you know, John, when he got his chance, he made the most of it. So you know, it's fun to see these guys out there and you know, playing well.
You need some reliable targets. Obviously, A.J. Green is your go-to guy. He's back in Cincinnati. We have him in knee. But who do you think is going to emerge as that number 2 guy for you?
You know, we've got a couple guys that you know, got a lot of trust in. Mohamed Sanu, you know, he's been out here playing, and Marvin Jones is another guy that you know, has the capability of making big plays. So you know, I feel like I'm comfortable with everybody that we got, and but I think those 2 guys will you know, definitely be competing for that job.
What do you think about what you've seen out of your rookies, Tyler Eifert and Giovanni Bernard?
Yeah, they did a good job.
You were telling me a funny story about Gio.
Yeah, Gio, I think the you know, first 3rd down that he was in there, he didn't pick up his blitz assignment, but luckily he got open, so he was able to catch a pass off of it. But you know, hopefully next time he'll be staying in there and you know, picking up the blitz.
What do you like from what you're seeing from both of those guys, just in their first outing?
Yeah, I thought they've done a good job. You know, both of them know what's going on. So I mean, that's what you expect from them. You know, I think, you know, it's good for them to get their first action in the NFL, and you know, hopefully they'll you know, make the most of it from here on out.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Andy. Good luck this season. Mike.
All right, Lisa, thank you. Good visit with the 3rd-year quarterback out of TCU. The rookie out of Duke, Sean Renfrey, gets hit on the pressure, and Jeremy Miles, safety of the sack.
Excuse me, Mike. Miles is a great special teams player for the Bengals, and comes in that time on a strong safety blitz. Center's got to see it, make a call. Tackle has to respond to it. That's the great thing about these preseason games. You get some spontaneous situations, some spontaneous blitzes that you test yourself, see where you are with your protections.
Renfrey at Duke took the Blue Devils a place Duke football rarely goes. A bowl game. 2-year captain taking off here, and he's going to be 4 yards shy of the first down. Duke's head coach David Cutcliffe, who was the head coach for Eli Manning at Ole Miss and the offensive coordinator who tutored Peyton Manning at Tennessee. And as you know, the Mannings in the offseason bring some of their receivers down there, do some throwing at Duke. It's where Peyton tried to get his act together coming off the surgeries. So that speaks to the respect for David Cutcliffe in terms of tutoring passers. And Renfrey did a very good job of completing balls in Durham. And he will play a good part of this 4th quarter. Flag down as Matt Bosher kicks to Dane Sanzenbacher. Star of the night's got some room if he can get past a couple of Falcons, but cuts back to the middle. And he's tackled shy of the 20 with that marker down. Pat Warlow, who played well with the second team linebackers for the Falcons in the second quarter, made his second special team stop.
Offside, number 43, defense lined up in the neutral zone. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So the Falcons will keep the ball and take it to the 49-yard line. And their offense will come back on the field. So the defense departs, and it's a continued drive for Renfrey.
Going back to Renfrey, was injured during the off-season program, the early part of May and June, and he's just now healthy where he can participate and compete for this backup job. And it'll be interesting, Mike, to see not only who the backup is, but do the Falcons keep 2 quarterbacks or 3?
You mentioned the injury for Renfrey, that bowl game that he took them to for the first time in 2004, the Belk Bowl. Renfrey on the run with the throw, sideline. It's complete.
Just the quarterback that gets completions.
Darius Johnson there.
Completes a high percentage of passes. And that's what he's done since he's taken reps here in Atlanta. Been well coached. You said that by David Cutcliffe. And when you take Duke to a bowl game and you become the first Blue Devil drafted in the last 8 or 9 years, that's saying something. A lot of production. He showed toughness in the pocket. Doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but he can play the position.
Motion called.
False start, number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Terrence Jones has struggled tonight, the rookie from Alabama State. Like what I've seen from Lamar Holmes, Mike, at right tackle. And really like what I've seen from Ryan Schrader, number 73, at left tackle. So far, young Terrence Jones has had his struggles.
Tackle position took a big hit here in Atlanta. Mike Johnson, the starter, penciled in as the starter. At right tackle, he was going to battle Lamar Holmes. Johnson with a significant injury in practice 2 days ago. Donald Russell, who played his home games here in Atlanta, playing for Georgia State. And our friend Bill Curry, who gets the catch there. Mike Johnson, that right tackle I was talking about, dislocated his left ankle and a fracture to the fibula in one of these workouts with the Bengals. Surgery next week. So Johnson out of the mix at the right tackle spot. Of course, Tyson Clabo was the right tackle that they're looking to replace. He's off to Miami with the Dolphins. That's why Holmes, who John showed you earlier in the third quarter, is so important for what this team does this year. Incomplete for Darius Johnson. I was mentioning Renfrey and getting Duke to a bowl game. So they get to this bowl game, the Belk Bowl, and they got a chance to win the game. And then late, they lose the game, and then they come back out, and they try to go back down the field and get a score. And Renfrey, on one of the very last plays of his Duke career, trying to make a tackle after a pick, which turned into a touchdown, gets a torn pec muscle. And that's what kept him out of the off-season program, which would have been so important. So he was playing a lot of physical catch-up as he gets his first shot at the NFL. Third and 9 pass is dropped by Ronnie Wingo, not related to Trey, rookie out of Arkansas.
Wingo's had a good camp. Dirk Cutter told us he's been impressed with Foster, the young back from Georgia State. Wingo's looked good. A lot of these young Falcons and Bengals are playing for their professional football lives, and looks like the Falcons are going to punt this ball away. Work on their down at punt situations.
Sanzenbacher heads back with Boscher's at the Cincinnati 34 here. And that play clock runs out. So a delay of game. So you're at your 34-yard line, 4th and 9. It's a preseason game. Why is the punt team out in a situation like this?
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, the only thing I can think is Coach Smith wants to work on his down it punt team. This is a real skill here. You want to punt the ball inside the 10. You want your gunners at the top of the screen, at the bottom of the screen, to get off a single, to get off a double team and go down this ball inside the 5-yard line. And Atlanta takes particular pride in winning the field position battle. This is a poor punt.
Sanzenbacher with a fair catch at the 12-yard line. So the Bengals get the ball on offense. It's the Falcons defense is out. One of the most unique stories in sports is coming out on the field. We'll tell you after this. And that we've caught defensively tonight, 28-year-old Brian Banks. We put Long Beach Poly High School because that's the last real true organized football he played, and then he sort of a prep role. He had a brief appearance in the UFL last year. This is a young man, if you follow the story, was 10 years, 5 in prison, 5 on probation after a sexual assault and kidnapping conviction. And after all of that time, and he was wrongly accused, here he is with his chance to play football tonight for the first time. So here's the story and how it happened. From Los Angeles, highly touted recruit, falsely convicted of 2 counts, sexual assault, kidnapping, the 10 years that we mentioned, 5 prison, 5 probation. 10 years later, those were dismissed, those convictions. Worked out with multiple teams, signed with the Atlanta Falcons. He's been in their camp and now has the opportunity to chase that dream of playing football. And Brian Banks on the field now for the first time in a game here tonight. He has spent his time in prison reading, studying dictionaries, thesaurus, worked on his public speaking, and has handled the attention around this situation very well. And being away from football for a decade, here he is now. Lisa Salters with this opportunity to play football in the NFL.
Hey, Mike. Well, I talked to Brian Banks last night and this morning, right before the game during warm-ups, and both times he says, I feel completely relaxed. He said, I thought I might be nervous, maybe a little giddy. Maybe it hasn't hit me yet, but he said, I don't feel any nerves really at all. I feel just really relaxed. And then he said when he thought about it, he thought, why should I be nervous? This is just football. Nervous, he said, is when I was walking into a courtroom and waiting to see if I was going to be sentenced to go to prison. And he's right. After everything he's been through, really, this is just one of those feel-good stories. Despite everything, he holds no resentment towards the woman who lied about him, caused him to spend 5 years in prison, 5 years as a registered sex offender. Mike, he is all about just making this 53-man roster, even though the odds are against him, since he hasn't really played football since high school. He says he's been working his butt off in camp just to show what he can do, and he's optimistic. He told me, even if the odds are against me, I've got to show out tonight. And even if I don't make it, he said, I'll be disappointed. But it just means that I'll be on the verge of maybe beginning something new. And besides that, he said, whether he makes the team or not, he's won the most important thing already, and that's his freedom. Mike?
All right, Lisa, this is a young man who was away from football for 10 years and has come back and now trying to find a way, if not make the football team, make the next step in his career. Injury on the field, unfortunately for the Bengals, just the back end of the action. Tanner Hawkinson got rolled up by one of his own teammates. So as he gets helped off, we'll step out. Disappointed to see Hawkinson, the 5th-round pick, rookie out of Kansas, who played for 4 years as a starter in Lawrence. Just got caught up and hit by one of his own players as the play was essentially over. And John Skelton brings the Bengals out from the 17-yard line. Burkhead with the run to the right.
Burkhead runs hard. North, south, no nonsense back. Interesting prospect. Going to be a tough cut down for the Bengals. At the halfback position, you've seen Bernard, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Pearman ran well. Boom Herring had some nice carries. And Rex Burkhead, going to be a hard man for Cincinnati to let go.
6th-round pick out of Nebraska. It's 3rd and 5, and that pass is complete to John Connor. We had mentioned earlier, former New York Jet. The The Bengals being featured on Hard Knocks. When the Jets were on Hard Knocks, John Connor, the Terminator, was he was presented as the next great fullback. Well, he lasted a couple of years with the Jets and now trying to get a second run through the league here in Cincinnati. Just last year. First full week of the preseason. With 5 other games going on. As I mentioned, we'll see the Chargers and the Bears next Monday night. As Boone Herron carries 4-yard. Chargers opening against the Seahawks tonight. And Chris Berman has an update on that one.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. You just like watching Russell Wilson play football. He played into the second quarter. A nifty run after he looked like he was hemmed in by the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, by the way, 5 of 6 in this game in his first outing for new head coach Mike McCoy. 3-0 Chargers in that one, second quarter.
All right, Chris, you and Trent Dilfer see them in Chicago next Thursday night. Habits are hard to break. I almost said next Monday night. As Herron goes to the right for another couple of yards.
Brian Banks mixing it up. Playing a Mike linebacker position for the Falcons. Run right at him. Nice job getting off a block and making a play. Mental toughness. That's what Brian Banks is all about. We wish him the best.
Has been very generous with his time, signing autographs, doing all the interviews, trying to turn as much negative that has been in his life to a positive through this experience. Bryce Davis out of Central Oklahoma with the pass reception for the first down. So Banks had a couple of tryouts, as we mentioned last year, and had to find a way when he didn't hook on after the UFL went away. There's no other league to play, no other place to play, hadn't played in a decade. So Jay Glazer from Fox TV, who is also involved with many of the mixed martial arts athletes, he helped train Banks, very similar to Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, those other familiar MMA, UFC athletes. Try to do the physical part to get Banks as ready as possible for this opportunity. And Jay was very important in Brian staying healthy and in ready shape to try to come in here and earn a job. And as Lisa said, to be very candid, it's a very, very, very long shot that he would make the team, given he's been away from football for a decade. You know, the last NFL or football playbook or verbiage was back in high school in Southern California a decade ago. The game has changed, and the level of football technical knowledge is so much different.
Boom Herron's running hard.
To the 46-yard line.
Both of these backup quarterbacks for the Bengals have shown well tonight. When you're a backup quarterback, I don't care when you get in a game in a preseason, Mike. You got to make the most of your opportunities. You can play 3 receivers or 4 linebackers at a time. You can play 2 guards or 2 tackles, but only 1 quarterback can play, and you have to make the most of every single snap. So far, Skelton's done that as well.
Guy was an opening day starter in the league last year as Herron goes to the left, squirts forward for the first down. There are not many teams in great shape in their backup quarterback role. When you start looking around in the NFL, you see the list of second-string quarterbacks, and you go, wow, that's the best that's out there. Something that teams will have to take a long, hard look at in this preseason. I'm talking about the AFC. Houston had TJ Yates win a playoff game a couple years ago. Matt Hasselbeck backing up Andrew Luck. Might be as good as any situation in the league. Matt Moore was a starter. Chad Henne behind Blaine Gabbert in Jacksonville. That's the. So John and I looked through the list the last couple of days. That's the best we found in the AFC. Here's the NFC. These are the top guys who are in number 2 roles right now in the NFC. Kyle Orton in Dallas. Sean Hill, who has 1 game as a starter for Detroit. Matt Castle behind Christian Ponder in Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins behind RG3. And we looked through the list a couple of times, right? Come on, it's got to be better than that.
There's no developmental league anymore for young quarterbacks. Colleges and high schools are running the spread system. And the salary cap in the current CBA has had a lot to do with some teams only keeping 2 quarterbacks. So the developmental process has been diminished.
That carry takes us to the 2-minute warning. 24-point lead, Cincinnati. Chase, Watkins, Glenn in the road course for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Noon Eastern, ESPN Sunday. The champ is trying to make sure he's part of the chase coming up here this fall. And Brad Keselowski is here in Atlanta standing by with Lisa Salters. Lisa?
Thank you, Mike. Brad, I hear that you're a huge NFL fan, but the Lions are your team. What are you doing here at this game tonight?
Well, I'm here in Atlanta because we race in Atlanta. You just saw the promo. We got Watkins Glenn this week, and we're coming back to Atlanta for a huge race at the Speedway on Labor Day weekend. And it's on ESPN. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I kind of heard that.
It's a big deal, but I'm a huge football fan. And how about Sanzenbacher?
That's not how you say it.
No, I say Sanzenbacher. Is that okay, Gruden? But I'm a huge football fan, and it's great to see guys step up and play like this and get an opportunity to earn their spot on teams. What were the Bears thinking cutting that guy? I heard they got cut from the Bears. What were you guys thinking? But it's a great game to watch.
Let's talk about your sport. Right now you're on the outside looking in. Every athlete has always said that it's tough to defend a title. What do you got to do to get back, to get in there, to get into your playoffs?
It's simple. We got to win, and we've got to try doing that for the next 5 weeks, and that's what's going to get us in NASCAR's version of the playoffs. They call it the chase. And we got 5 weeks to do it. Atlanta's one of those big races, but so is Watkins Glen this weekend, so we're ready.
All right. Thank you for your time, and good luck getting it done.
Thank you very much.
Mike?
All right, Lisa, thank you. Brad's a good guy. Got to watch Thanksgiving, Sanzenbacher. Got to watch the Lions game with him Thanksgiving at Ford Field.
You know everybody, Mike. I mean, you must broadcast other sports.
1 or 2, time to time. But I'm so happy to be back with you. Another 19 weeks of my life getting these 3:30 a.m. wake-up calls to come watch tape. Spider 2, Wide Banana. Life is good.
You love football. I know you do. Appreciate you.
Good effort from the Bengals. He's a very deep team here in Atlanta. Obviously, their stars for a couple of series, but give me a thought here on the Falcons, John, as we wrap this one up.
Well, we know who the Falcons' best players are. You'd like to see more from their backups in the coming weeks. Who's going to comprise the lower half of this Falcon roster? They need to do better next week.
And solid showing, not just Andy Dalton, but the rest of the Bengals as they went on through their second team. You see a team that is building with a lot of young, talented players and a good core group as well, led by Andy Dalton. 34-10 here tonight. Sports Center coming up next. Full recap of this first full night of the NFL as the preseason's underway. Remember, next Thursday night, San Diego takes on Chicago. And then 2 more preseason games after that before the 44th season of Monday Night Football kicks off. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, and our entire Monday Night team, Mike Tirico so long from Atlanta. And stay tuned to Sports Center.